Hello everyone and welcome to our last day of Gengar Trevenant week for our series Road to TCG Worlds 2016. Now, we had a pretty successful day on Wednesday in English because we did go... It is a 6 game video, so if you haven't watched that, I recommend you do because it got a lot of positive responses because even though there were 5 games in real quick succession, it does showcase the strength of a deck. Now, we are up against a fighting psychic colorless deck, so most likely Lucario bats, which in my opinion is the stronger version of the fighting decks out there against Poke Trainer Hauro. Now we get a pretty okay hand in terms of getting that turn 1 Trevenant, but if I'm not mistaken, my opponent is going first this time around. Yep, he is. So there's a Lucha, that tells me Lucario, there's a Zubat, and he goes for the first turn Corina. So having that DC is great if we do manage to get a turn 1 Wallis, but if we don't, we might be in a bit of trouble here, because I might be better off attaching the Psychic to the benched Phantump, because he has the Lucario now, and Lucario's attacks, or first attack rather, doesn't apply resistance. So, wow, he gets rid of 2 basic fighting in favor of a Shaymin, so he definitely has another energy in his hand. Otherwise, that seems like a mistake on his part. Having 2 Zubats down is really good for him. Really puts a ton of pressure on my Phantoms. But no, he has 2 cards in his hand, which he could have gotten rid of 1 and attached an energy, but he opted not to. He attaches another basic fighting, so this might come down to us getting enough energy, or rather stalling out the energy he potentially has to attack us. Now that's the 3rd energy, and we know he has at least 4 strong energy, so that's something to keep in mind. Now I wonder if I should get rid of that Trevenant here. Question is, whom do I attach the DC to? I would love to have a Gengar right now, but if I go for Gengar, I'm basically giving up on drawing any more cards right now. But is it worth it to attach that DCE? Because I think it is. Because I do have the other Ultra Ball in my hand. So an ideal scenario here would be drawing the Battle Compressor. Now, no supporter is really terrible here. Like, absolutely terrible. Oh, jeez. It's gonna be a hard end of the week. I can already tell. Because I guess he won't be KOing the active Phantump. So that gives us an extra turn. But I'm gonna keep the Verseeker. I'm gonna get rid of the Muscle Band, because I probably will 2-hit KO the Lucarios anyways. And if the other Shaymin was not priced, I would get the Shaymin. But since it is, I'll just go get my Gengar right now. I will be able to bench it. I will attach the DC despite the risk of him having an Enhanced Hammer, and I will pass the turn. As per usual, we are... Excuse me. We are down to top deck mode. This card, we will see what we could have drawn off of the Shaymin if I had attached the DC to a Phantump. So that will be interesting. He does attach the strong energy, so now he has a 1 KO on every single Phantump. Yeah, thanks for the friendly reminder, Zach. You're always so nice. Yeah, he spreads out the damage. I don't know why he targeted Gengar there, but he will get a KO and he will draw an extra 3 cards. So I'm very jealous of my opponents. An extra 4 cards. Because that level ball, he could have gone for a Zubat, but he opts not to. He decides to bench the Hawlucha, and that to me is a mistake, because benching another one, especially against this deck, definitely doesn't seem like it's worth it. Because you want to attack with Lucario. You will hardly have a chance to attack with Hawlucha against a Gengar or a Shaymin. And even a Zubat would have been better to thin out your deck by 1 more card and have another possibility for Crobat. Now, who do I promote here? I guess Gengar, because I can't take a hit with Gengar. But let's see what we top deck. I top deck a Mystery Energy, which is okay. Fortunately, I'm gonna have to give up another Phantump, but at least I will be able to guarantee a KO on that Lucario if he decides to stay active. If he goes for an AC of some sort, his only out to KOing Phantump would be a Muscle Band and a Strong Energy, or potentially 2 Crobat drops, which could definitely happen. He could also retreat into Crobat and take a KO on the active Phantump. And wow, he's just going to get rid of every single of our Phantumps. And I'm not gonna lie, we're in a lot of trouble. I saw my opponent's deck and I was very confident. I saw our hand and I was very confident. And now I'm having a hard time figuring out how we're going to win, because he's going to KO this Phantump. That will put him down at 3 prizes. I will KO the Lucario, but 3 Phantumps in the discard pile. So only Super Rod will help us there. And we will have to promote Shaymin to the active spot, which means Hawlucha can easily finish it off, especially after you put those 20 damage counters onto it. So it seems like we might lose against this, in theory, very good matchup. I mean, wow, perhaps I should have played that DCE. Okay, at least I get some draw off of here. Now, I need that Super Rod. I definitely don't need the Wallies. I want a Sycamore for this turn. And I'm gonna get rid of another Wally, because those are cards that are not useful right now, except for the Sycamore. So, there it is. Not gonna lie, pretty lucky top deck, but if you consider the circumstances and how far into the game we are, it's not that lucky. Now, fortunately, we took a Gengar and enough energy to guarantee, to prevent like having to sacrifice a Shaymin. That's the basics here. I will have to cycle Gengars, but the Gengars can also take down Hawluchas, and I do get 2 prizes off of this, so that's pretty neat. I could potentially target a Lucario. Having 3 DCs in hand is really ridiculous, but not too surprising at this stage. And it comes down to, can he stream enough energies to KO all of my Pokemon? He has his Super Rod, very nice. He'll probably put back energy because, okay, he goes for a Golbat, a Lucario, and 1 energy, okay. So just take a look at this. There's 4 basic energies, another one in play, that's 5, he returned 1, that's 6, and 4 strong. So I would really find it hard to believe he runs more than 4. Wow, that's a 7th basic, so maybe he does run a 7-4 split. He goes for a Karina, can potentially get a Level Ball and a Lucario, or a Muscle Band. But, not gonna lie, we really are in a lot of trouble here. We really are in a lot of trouble. I need to get that Trevenant out as soon as possible, and wow, he gets the red card, a card you all know I love, but right now I really need to get another DC. I mean, I did get the float stone, so it's not terrible, because I can attack with Gengar once again. I would actually prefer to see a super out here. But I get a muscle band. Okay. So I'm gonna attach the float stone here. I'm gonna attach the energy here. I'm gonna attach the muscle band here. And I'm simply going to retreat and take a KO on that Hawlucha, where we are able to tie up the game. But I really would prefer not to have to promote this Gengar once more. I really would have preferred to attack with this one and promote this one, which has less damage on it. I do get my second Shaymin off of my prizes, so at least that's something. I do have the Lysander to potentially KO Hawlucha, or bring that Lucario up if he decides not to attack with it. He goes for a Professor's Letter, gets 2 fighting, so that's a total of 3 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's at least 8 basic fighting energy. I'm really surprised at that amount. I usually see this deck with like a 5 and 4 split, and he's just going all out with them. Now he decides to go for Lucario and plays the AC onto Crobat, which makes sense. He wants to KO this Gengar, and thus we will not be able to do too much here. Gonna have to start promoting Shaymins because this Gengar has too much damage on it. He only did 30, so that's pretty great. Now with this Giovanni top deck, I do have the one-hit KO on this Lucario, so that was very fortunate. Gonna use it so I can draw an extra card off of Shaymin. I'm gonna draw 4 cards, so I'm gonna go down to 1 prize, and I will have the Lysander in my hand. So honestly, even though things were looking very grim with that start, that Giovanni might have just saved our buttocks. Now, gonna keep both the floatstone and the energy, or should I attach the energy or the floatstone? No, I'm gonna just take the KO. Yeah, thank you. I know, Zach. Thank you very much. I'm gonna do 200 damage, get a KO on that Lucario, and I'm gonna promote this Shaymin, which has the least amount of odds possible to get KO'd, or makes him require the most amount of cards in order to get a KO. And if he doesn't play another red card or a judge, we have the game won by KOing either a Zubat or a Golbat or a Hawlucha. He powers up Shaymin, so that pretty much guarantees the game here, and I really cannot believe we are going to pull off a win here. He's going to also fall 10 short, unless he plays the Crobat, which we know he has in his hand. Yep, he will play the Crobat, so at least he gets down to 1 prize as well. But thanks to that Lysander, we know we have the game won. Who do we want to KO, Zubat or Hawlucha? I guess Zubat ended up being more annoying for us, so that's what I'm gonna opt to KO. Doesn't really matter, makes no difference. I just have a grudge against that Zubat because it has done a lot of damage to us, and I simply Dark Corridor for the game. So that's 1 game down. That's our last prize taken. Another victory for this deck. I'm honestly surprised at how many victories we got with this deck, but to be fair, we didn't face the hardest matchup, which is Yveltal Galad, and we did get one of the mystery gifts, and we freed up a booster pack. So I guess I'll open the booster pack at the end of the video. if I remember, because I might not remember. Now let's see what we find for the last game of the week. I really enjoyed using this deck. I like the concept of hit and run. Axelgor Trevenant back in the day was one of my favorite decks. I did play Axelgor Mew Vileplume at Worlds 2012. I played Dumbfan at my Mexico Nationals, where I bubbled in 9th place because I was dumb enough to tie my last round. So yeah, I do like the hit and run concept, and this is like hit and run on steroids, because not only do I hit and run, but I also prevent your items. Now, what is this? It's a Gengar with a dragon Pokemon and Dimension Valley. So I have no idea what we're up against. I unfortunately Mulligan once again. And as you can see, like, as a simple conclusion of the deck, I would really remove the Zoroark line. Possibly to put Galad to make the Manectric matchup better. And wow, our starting hand is amazing. And yeah, I would definitely remove Zoroark from the deck, like, no questions asked. Okay, so my opponent does go first, gets a Floatstone down, and plays a Birch. So if he flips tails, the game could be decided really quickly, despite our not so amazing start. Oh, so it's Noibat, Noivern, Gengar. That's a very interesting concept. Not the most standard one for sure, but I'm sure when it works, it works. Okay, gonna grab a Sycamore here. I will attach the TCE because it is less likely that I draw a TCE after the Sycamore, and it basically goes this way. I always advise not to play the TCE first, but in this case, it goes. The probability of me drawing another double colorless energy after the Sycamore are less, or are lower, than drawing a Psychic Energy to attach for next turn. And that probability is lower, or is higher. Like, drawing a Psychic Energy is higher than the odds of my opponent having an Enhanced Hammer right this turn. So that is why it's not too bad that I opt to play the thingy. Okay, the DC. So I get rid of Wallis, I'm gonna get rid of the other Battle Compressor, and we have so many nice Verse Seekers in our hand, and the other Battle Compressor. I do have a nice setup for next turn, so I'm just gonna... Oh wait, yeah, thanks Zach. Thank you very much. Those are the times when Zach really helps you out. Now, will he bring back Shaymin? Do the 3 damage counters matter? They do if I draw a Muscle Band, so I'm gonna place them onto Shaymin, because Noivern fortunately has that annoying ability where you can't KO it if he flips heads, but the in-between poison damage, in-between turns poison damage, would KO it, and it would actually KO it coming back into my turn, so that would be pretty amazing. He flips tails unfortunately once again, which is obviously not good, and he just passes here. So pretty great top deck, and I will go all out this turn in order to get that Muscle Band. So first a Shaymin for 3 cards, where I hope I do not see either Trevenants or Verse Seekers or more Sycamores. I do get another Sycamore, but I do get the Muscle Band. So having Wallis in my discard pile, I can at least make use of one of my Verse Seekers. And honestly, with the way things are looking, I would not be surprised if my opponent opted to concede really quickly here. If he decides to do that, I might play another game for you guys, because I don't know, I really like this deck. I really like Gengar. as a concept and as a card. 2 troubles off of our prizes. And yeah, there's the victory. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna play another match. Now I was thinking that I could make Friday's video into a tournament where I could join a tournament and play it out and see how far I get with the deck of the week. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. If you are, leave a comment in the section down below, letting me know your opinion. I mean, it will ultimately be my decision because tournaments do take longer than regular games, I guess. And I would obviously cut the video like from game 1, then game 2, then game 3, because I wouldn't want to upload a 1-hour video with 20 minutes dead time, and I can't talk for that long without, like, I can if I'm telling you guys about the game and what I'm thinking, but I can't really talk an hour in a row where 20 minutes I don't do anything. And awesome to see we are playing against a fan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You'll be in the Friday video. And yeah, sorry about my mulligan. Sorry about not clicking, rather. And that trainer's mail could net us the turn 1 Trevenant. We haven't gotten it today yet, so let's see if we can this time around. Another Phantump, rather, top deck, which is great. Let's see what we get off of this trainer's mail, and we do get the Wally. So the turn 1 luck is real, guys. And because I do not have a Gengar, I'm just gonna go for an offensive Trevenant to start us off with. I will attach the DC here because unless he's playing Zerosic, there is no risk for me to do that. And I will attach the 2 tools to both Trevenants, and I'm gonna pass the turn. So, not gonna lie, the only thing that would have made this hand more perfect would have been a single Gengar. So, thank you, Mr. Burnsy, for watching my videos. Honestly, this is the best hand I've gotten all week, so unfortunate that it's against you. But hey, if you're watching this, leave me a comment on the video. And yeah, let's see what he's using. Wow, he goes for a Judge when I have 2 cards, so that speaks volumes of what he had before my item log and how much damage that the early item log does. And he's actually playing the deck I've used with the most success this season so far. Manectric Crobat is a deck I really enjoy. I usually like to use different decks in every tournament because A, because I get bored, and B, because the metagame is constantly changing. But why was I saying that? Oh, I really think that deck doesn't have any very extremely good counters, so it's not like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed using it. Now I'm gonna Wallies and I'm gonna go for the Zoroark just because I haven't gotten it out in any of the games. It does threaten my opponent if he fills up his bench with Zubats, and I have higher odds of drawing another Trevenant before the Zoroark. So do I want to play that Trainer's Mail? I'm gonna hang on to it right now. Just gonna Tree Slam for the KO. And not sure good. Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that. I got the best hand all week against you. So yeah, that's what's happening, guys. I won't play another game after this one. As you saw the other day, or I don't remember if it was the Spanish video, I usually, or I sometimes have to record the videos before I go to work. It would be lovely. I usually have to record some videos before I go to work, and this video, because of other tournaments like video game tournaments and all of that, because I'm doing so much for the channel and it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming. I'm recording and it's really late and I have to go back to bed because I have to go to the gym tomorrow, and yeah, so that's what happens behind the scenes at Tablemon. I was also thinking about doing a Q&A video if you guys would be interested in something like that. Promise I won't. And yeah, a Q&A video. Maybe you guys are interested. I did promise a video or 2 different videos for January, and they are coming. I am working on them. One of them is my trajectory through the TCG, like how well I've done so far. I'll talk about my experience at Worlds, about the time I got 3rd place at Worlds, which was a little over 10 years ago. And yeah, if that's something you're looking forward to, just keep showing your support for the channel, guys. Like, I don't know why this week the comments were very low on every single video, but yeah, TG, man, thank you very much. I do try with the content, and I'm glad there's people like you that enjoy it. If there's even just one person who enjoys what I do, I will keep doing it, and apparently there's over 1,000 of you who enjoy what I do. So yeah, all of that is coming soon. Not gonna say when, but I will try my best to have it before January. Top 10 Tablemon Pro plays, but that's mostly for the video game because it's a bit more dynamic. But definitely my trajectory in competitive Pokemon since I started back in 2003. That's a video that I really want to do. I think it would be very nice for you guys to get to know me more, because I'm sure there's a lot of new players who didn't even know or play Pokemon back in 2005, which were my golden days, if you want to put it that way. I've always played, not every year as much as this year or as when I was younger back then, but Pokemon is something that's a huge part of my life, and I intend to keep it that way until I pass away or the game dies. And since we are celebrating the 20th anniversary and things are going so strong, I don't think either will happen anytime soon. And after all this corny stuff, I will leave you guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next week, where we are using Wailord's Tal. Alright, so bye bye.